She's always thinking of other people and doing things for other people. She's probably the most selfless person that I know.
I grew up in Selma, California, on a farm. It was a beautiful, beautiful childhood. Met Bob when I was a receptionist, and he was a client, and so we had a phone rapport for several weeks.
Finally decided to go over and take some plans over. I had an excuse to go over and take some plans. And
I guess we both decided each other was dateable.
we had been dating about a year before we got married total. And that's where it all started.
I had the stroke in March of 2014. It was about 6 o'clock at night. I'm typing an email, and Suzanne and I shared an office, and so I said, "Bub, come over here. Read this before I press send." And so she came and stood behind me and was reading this email over my shoulder. And at that point, I guess I had the stroke because I laid my hand on the keyboard and I couldn't pick it up. And so there was this one letter that would just, go across the screen. I didn't even realize that I wasn't moving my hand, to be honest. When I responded again in a garbled way, she turned me around in my chair and looked at me, and she could see that my face had slumped, and she said, "You're having a stroke." She called 911 right away.
I was just outside of Los Banos driving to San Jose when I got the call. Suzanne said, "You need to come home. Kay's had a stroke." Probably the longest 70 minutes of my life.
I really don't remember being in the first hospital. They administered a medication that was designed to break up the clot, but for whatever reason it didn't work. So they sent me then to a hospital downtown.
When I got there, she was in the emergency room. The doctors were working on her. I was trying to talk to her and was not getting a response, not much of a response at all. There was a lot of fear there, When you're married to someone for such a long time and you're so close, to be without her is really scary.
So one of the things I remember most clearly about being in the hospital is meeting my surgeon. Because it was determined that he should perform a surgery where he would fish some apparatus up my femoral artery all the way up into my brain, capture the clot, and bring it out.
Now is where the hard work begins in getting her back to where she was before. And that was a challenge that she took head on.
There was physical therapy and occupational therapy. And I remember having a certain session where I needed to push something up a slanted board, and it was very difficult. And that was very frustrating. And that was really telling to me. It's like, I can't do that.
It was really a mystery for a long time as to what caused it.
Finally, the only thing they could attribute it to is that I was on birth control pills, and that the hormones in birth control pills can be a risk factor. Suzanne obviously had heard or knew about these symptoms. She called 911 right away, which is key to why I have had such a great outcome. Thank you, Suzanne.
One of the things that I'm really grateful for is that I'm going to have my soulmate. We're looking forward to retirement together.
And because I have recovered so well, I am as independent as the next person. I can talk, I can walk, I can drive, I can think. There's a lot to be grateful for.